Fox News contributor and former presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard joins me now. So, Tulsi, everybody says Biden behind the scenes when he's not being produced is even worse than what we see on camera.
Jesse, you know, I think there's obviously concern about what people are seeing, but I think there's a disconnect, as that ad that they're running clearly shows. There's the reality that lives within those who talk about politics as though it's a game, and are you on this team or on that team? But those who are showing concern are people who actually live in the real world, people who are understanding the consequences of Joe Biden's policies, the real world that they live in, where they have to worry about whether or not their paycheck is going to go as far as it used to. Can they afford rent? Can they afford their mortgage? Groceries are costing more and more money. Maybe their kid just got sick and they don't know how they're going to afford that hospital bill. We look at foreign policy under the Biden administration. They see how President Biden is literally playing chicken with nuclear war with Russia, putting us closer to the prospect of direct conflict with both Russia and China, and families and parents wondering, hey, are my kids, are my brothers and sisters in uniform going to be the next part of that high body count that will certainly come as a result? So I think it's this reality that people are seeing that come as a consequence of President Biden and his administration's policies that'll be harder to ignore as they approach their decision that they'll make at the ballot box.
You heard the NPR swing state voters. It wasn't just old. That was just one description. It was, we got two seniles. And when you say senile, it takes it up a level and it connects it to the policy. Someone can be old,
exactly,
but they can execute policy. If you're senile, then you can't execute policy, and that speaks to the danger of Biden's foreign policy. It speaks to the danger of his border policy, the danger of his fiscal policy. Inflation's nuts. And if voters can connect the senility to the crazy policies, that's just deadly for a presidential campaign.
It is, because as the Biden administration again showed in that ad, they think that they have a messaging problem, that somehow their beautiful story is not being told. But they're actually lying to the American people about their story. The reality that we are living in this country is what we know to be true, regardless of whatever lies they may be pushing out through their friends in the propaganda media. And that reality is a very, very serious one that has to do with our economy, our well-being, our livelihood, and most importantly, our ability to live in peace and not have the prospect of war destroying us as a country, or nuclear Armageddon, which is where Biden has put us as a country, closer to that potential and possibility.
Yeah, the ad was crazy. He has Democrats arresting Donald Trump, and he's complaining about him not getting enough news coverage for Bidenomics. That doesn't make any sense.
It's exactly. It's completely out of touch with reality. And I think you bring up how Biden has weaponized the Department of Justice and undermining the rule of law, trying to take out his political opponent. But we've also seen in the news this week how they are also targeting peaceful pro-life protesters, literally locking up a grandmother who was in her upper 70s for years in jail for being a peaceful pro-life protester at an abortion clinic. There are a lot of Americans who are being targeted by this administration who are not seeing their names and their stories in the news. But this is the new norm that we can expect under a Biden-Harris administration, or even if they take Biden out and put in Harris, we will see the destruction of our democracy and an escalation pushing us closer and closer towards truly this banana republic that they are creating for us.
Well, a Harris administration. I don't even know if I can say that on television. I might have to bleep it. Thank you so much, Tulsi Gabbard.
Thanks, Jesse.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.